Microsoft acquires ZeniMax Media for $7.5 billion. This includes studios like Bethesda, ID Software, and Arcane Studios. And all their future games from these studios will appear on Game Pass day one. Now, if you're unfamiliar of these developers, they've created several games. I'm just going to list a few that you might have heard of. Dishonored, Wolfenstein, The Elder Scrolls, Doom, Starfield, The Evil Within, Prey, Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo, and everybody's Bethesda favorite game. This small indie game, small developer, like, they made this, like, random story called Fallout. Maybe you've heard of it. Hint, sarcasm. Dude, that franchise, Fallout, has one of the best stories in the history of video games telling, up until Fallout 76, but we'll get to that later. So, Microsoft coming out of the woodwork and basically being like, yo guys, I know we can't really launch the Xbox Series X with Halo Infinite because they are not really ready under the circumstances of everything that's going on right now. But how about we just go out and buy everything? So that's what they're doing. And holy shit, what a purchase. Now, they went ahead and announced this before the pre-orders even went live for the Xbox Series X. So not only are they launching one of the, or not the most powerful console to date, but they're also going to have Xbox Game Pass have some of the most popular, well-known titles in the history of gaming. It's for sure going to be in the Xbox Game Pass day one, but Microsoft has not confirmed whether or not they're going to be Xbox exclusives. Now, it's interesting because Bethesda games such as Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo were set to be PS5 console exclusives. It's a little bit unclear about what this means for the future. I found an interview by the director and executive producer of Bethesda Game Studios. He has led the development of Fallout and the Elder Scrolls series. Now, he has an official announcement on joining the Xbox team, and here it is. Like our original partnership, this one is about more than one console or one screen. We share a deep belief in the fundamental power of games, in their ability to connect, empower, and bring joy. And a belief we should bring that to everyone, regardless of who they are, where you live, or what you play on, regardless of the screen size, the controller, or your ability to even use one. Basically saying they want to make sure that Bethesda games are essentially available to everyone on every electronic device, on every console, your grandma's phone, your little niece's tablet, your Stadia login information that you're stealing from your best friend that makes more money than you. Like, everybody's going to be able to play these games is the goal here. He goes on to say that we can't think of a better group of people to do this with other than those at Xbox. We have friendships that go back to those original days, from Phil to his senior leaders to developer support. They don't just talk about putting players first, they passionately live it. He essentially finishes up by saying, at Bethesda, we've been lucky enough to create games we love and have an audience who loves them as much as we do. I have personally been humbled by the many industry honors I have received as they belong to the entire studio. But one has always stood out for me when I received a Lifetime Achievements Award at GDC, and I joked in my acceptance, I wonder how many achievement points this one's worth. At the end of the ceremony, some good friends at Microsoft congratulated me and said they'd find out. A few months later, I was given a code to a game they created, named after me, locked to my account. When ran, it unlocks a single achievement. Lifetime, 1,000 points. It still sits in my list when I check, and I smile every time. Feels good, man, am I right? This next segment is going to be a little bit rough. I feel for Todd Howard. I understand his position. He's a director. He's the main face to Bethesda Game Studios. But we can't really gloss over Fallout 76, can we? Todd Howard single-handedly turned into a meme after Fallout 76. Like my man at Live E3 back in 2018 when they were first announcing Fallout 76. He talked about how Fallout 76 is going to be the biggest Fallout we've ever made. Everything you see, you'll be able to travel to. Todd's main job is he's the hype man for a game being released. He comes out of the woodwork and he basically says, this is going to be the best game you've ever played. Better than anything you've ever seen before. It's going to be the greatest game of all time. It's a clear example. Fallout 76 is a very, very clear example of what happens when the marketing and business side of a project is completely disconnected from the engineering and development side of the project. Todd was selling the dream of what the game was going to be without consulting or knowing, or I hope so, hopefully he's not a liar, of what the engineers were capable of and what they were building. Fallout 76 launched with a bunch of bugs, completely flawed. Players were losing real-life monetary value of items in the game. Overall, it was a bad time. And that's what makes this purchase of ZeniMax Media so interesting. Now, Microsoft definitely needs, I believe, more titles for the Xbox. That's going to be released soon. So they might have been, I'm not going to say desperate, because Microsoft makes about like $38 billion in the fourth fiscal quarter of 2020. I think they can afford $7.5 billion to spend or gamble on ZeniMax Media. A sell of this big in the world of gaming is very, very significant. It makes me feel, personally, that there might be something going on behind the scenes. I bring up Fallout 76 because that was a Bethesda debacle. Your main director turns into a meme. Everybody begins to hate you. It's at the height of EA microtransactions. Gamers are losing their minds. And the trust for from game developers is pretty much nil. It doesn't exist. So maybe Microsoft actually got this deal undervalued because of that type of PR. And if so, I gotta congratulate the Microsoft team. I mean, this is next level 5,000 IQ play.